Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. Then we'll go through the UKMO Office run, have a look at the precipitation and temperature over the next 5 days, and then we'll have a look at the longer range, looking at the GFS, ECMWF and the Ensembles, as it does look like April and May, as we've been saying over the last good week now, is going to be ending pretty chilly, and May starting pretty chilly as well. There's been some developments perhaps with the severity of the cold air. Perhaps it's not going to be quite as severe as it was looking a few days ago, but it is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. As I'll explain in the second half of the video, it may mean surface conditions in the daytime aren't as bad, but it does mean there's more higher pressure around. We'll still see colder air masses, so it could mean the overnight frosts are more widespread and more severe. So daytime conditions perhaps improving, temperatures maybe not quite as cold as we anticipated a few days ago, but then it could increase the chance of overnight frost, because with a more weak northerly or northeasterly wind, less mixing of air, and that's where we could see those temperatures really fall overnight. So some pros and cons to the latest developments in terms of the cold weather for the end of April and start of May. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if you do start on the live radar, it has been very dry over the last good few days, and just generally over the last few weeks it's been reasonably dry. Now, in yesterday's video we did have a look at the potential of seeing some very heavy showers breakouts. Now, they're not quite as widespread as potentially anticipated, so not covering all of England and Northern England, like the models or the UKMO Office run was showing yesterday, but we have seen them come or break out, and they are quite heavy. Now, they're caused by the cut-off lows just to our south. These cut-off lows have shifted slightly further northwards, so it means just their outer bands of vorticity and convection have reached the UK, and we've seen these showery outbreaks. You can see nowhere near as severe as we are seeing across parts of Europe and into Eastern Europe, where we're seeing significant thunderstorms across Southeast Europe. With that, and of course through the Alps as well, and France and Germany. For the UK, we're just seeing some heavier showers. Now, some of these showers did move through where I am at the moment, and it moved through about 2 p.m, and we saw hail from it, quite a heavy hail shower, because of course we have got reasonably cold air aloft. It's not crazy cold, but it's reasonably cold, and some big convection, and where you see these darker greens, yellows and oranges, that is showing very heavy precipitation. And again, hail, it was seen from that in the shower that passed through where I was, and most of these showers are lighter with heavier cores. So you are unlucky if you do see one of the cores of these showers where we see these heavier pulses with hail around as well. Now, where we have seen these showers across the central belt of England into southeast England, and of course into parts of northern England and Scotland, but much lighter, it has held the temperatures down. So if we do have a look at those temperatures today, now I'm recording this around 4:30, so it's the peak of the daytime temperatures, and you can see where we've seen the spine of the showers down the spine of England. It is cooler. You see more blues and less of these yellowy colours, and that's because the showers not only providing precipitation that cooling down the temperature, but also just generally more cloud, and the cloud is prohibiting sunshine, which is the real driver of the temperatures this time of year. So east of the showers, quite nice, and further westwards as well. Best temperatures across West Midlands, down to southwest England, and once again across towards northwest England again. Not quite as big contrasts in temperatures, because that easterly wind that we've had recently over the last few days is decreasing, so we're seeing less of the Föhn effect across northwest England, so those temperatures are not particularly contrasting as much. But generally elsewhere, not great. The temperatures are a little bit down on the last few days, so yeah, it is just a continual trend we're going to be seeing, with not amazingly cold temperatures, but not particularly warm temperatures, feeling chilly for some, especially with precipitation and thicker cloud. But of course, if you see some sunshine, it won't feel too bad at all. And this is going to be a continuing signal over the next few days and the next few weeks. And those nighttime temperatures are going to be real ones that are taking a hit. As we'll see with the UK Met Office run in a minute, there is likely to be seeing frosts over the coming days. So if you do have a look at the UK Met Office run, have a look at precipitation and temperature over the next few days. So you can see this afternoon those showery outbreaks across the central sort of spine of England. Again, pretty well accurate on the 3 o'clock run here, sort of dissipating through the evening, and we generally have dry conditions, maybe a few showers in the far northeast. And then by tomorrow, a few showers outbreaking again across Southern Ireland and East Anglia and Northeast England, with just generally thicker cloud holding those temperatures back again. Through Monday, we're going to be seeing those temperatures once again, the precipitation once again, light in far east in a few areas with some thicker cloud, but generally nothing too bad. Yes, some thicker cloud here or there, but some sunny outbreaks, meaning temperatures will be alright in a few places, and very similar on Thursday, some cloud around, but not amazingly widespread, and it's going to mean, again, the temperatures are alright in a few places, but lower in other areas. And by Friday, a very similar day, perhaps more clear skies for Friday, especially across the central areas. And by Saturday, some precipitation moving into the far north of Scotland, and that's as low pressures gathering to our north, ready to move southwards, introducing colder air, or even colder air, I must say. So if we do have a look at the temperatures, you can see overnight last night, pretty chilly, 5-6 degrees widely, dropping down towards low single digits, if not towards freezing in a few spots. And those patches of cold air, of overnight frost, is going to increase over the coming days. So you can see this afternoon temperatures peaking around 14-15 degrees, where we said across southwest England, perhaps the northwest, and parts of Ireland as well. Overnight tonight, though, temperatures are going to drop. Again, down to low single digits, perhaps more of these areas getting towards sort of 2, 3, 4 degrees, not quite towards frost level, but could hint at a frost in a few areas. But as I said, it's going to get colder over the coming days, and by Tuesday afternoon, again, temperatures 14-15 degrees, not too great across the far north and northeast, with that northeasterly flow pretty chilly, only 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees. Overnight, Tuesday, temperatures dropping away once again, those coldest temperatures along the central spine of England into southern Scotland and northeast Scotland as well, and parts of Ireland, temperatures dropping down towards freezing. Even in central southern England, we could see rural freezing temperatures, and again, frost with that. So if you do have any plants or vulnerable plants outside in the gardens, make sure you do protect them over the coming days and coming weeks, as this could be a regular occurrence. It's very difficult to forecast, because you can see with slightly increased cloud amounts, it hover around 3 or 4 degrees and it'll be alright. If we do see those clouds clear, we could see those temperatures drop down to freezing. So it is very marginal over the coming days, so please do take care. And of course, if you are out at night, do take care as well, because it is going to be cold and don't want anyone getting into any issues with freezing temperatures. By Wednesday afternoon, you can see again 14-15 degrees, nothing too great, just very similar to the last few days, and the overnight temperatures dropping away quite rapidly across northwest England, peaking around -2, -3 degrees in a few spots. Really cold across the West Midlands, northwest England to northern England, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland. So very chilly nights coming. Cloud amounts increase though, so by by sunrise, those temperatures are hovering back above freezing. Thursday afternoon, similar, not too great, it's 15-16 degrees in the south, and by Friday again, chance of another widespread cold night, widely down to 1, 2, 3 degrees, and a few areas dropping below that. And by Friday afternoon, again, 16 degrees is possible in a few areas, but generally 12 to 14, and again, by early hours of Saturday, another frost across central parts of England. So every night this week, there is going to be the potential for seeing frosts in places. So again, I'll reiterate, if you are out at night, make sure you take care. It is going to be cold. There could be icy stretches around in areas, especially over higher ground. And of course, if you have plants out there, if you're a gardener, you've got vulnerable summer plants out there, or crops, please do take the necessary precautions, as there are going to be very cold temperatures over the coming days. So we do now have a look at the longer range, have a look at the GFS, GM and ECMWF. If we start with the GFS run, you can see northeasterly flow at the moment, chillier air coming in, but high pressure sits over the top of the UK towards this week. And it's with those stagnant pressure charts, with the high pressure sitting over the top, with chillier upper air temperatures that we'll look at in a minute. That's why we're going to be seeing these frosts, not necessarily because the air mass is bitterly cold. Now, as we head towards day 5, you can see high pressure veers towards Greenland, but we have this low pressure towards northeast Canada that's going to try and push the high pressure away from Greenland, and it does a successful job at it. We do see a brief northerly wind, cold air masses in around a week's time, but you do see generally we don't get that direct northerly, and low pressure does tumble in, so it would be more unsettled and chilly in this scenario. And right towards the end of the run, it does look like it could be going very westerly and unsettled with more rain around, something we haven't seen for a while. So do run it back and have a look at the upper air temperatures. Again, chilly upper air temperatures over the coming few days as that high pressure builds in, around freezing at 850 HPA for quite a few areas, and that is going to allow those temperatures to drop overnight. As we head towards next week, we start to see that northerly plunge, cold air mass move through, but because it doesn't sort of sustain the blocking over Greenland, it's only temporary, but high pressure does build in, so we could see some very severe overnight frost there. For example, Tuesday night next week, perhaps Wednesday night next week, could be very cold indeed, with cold upper air temperatures and high pressure with clearer skies. Those temperatures could really drop widely towards freezing, if not below freezing, for the first week of May. So a real late season frost. Beyond that, more milder air comes in from the west, should cut those frosts out with more mixing of air, because there will be more cloud, more moisture and more rain around. So we should cut those frosts away in this sort of scenario, but it is so far away we can't say anything with too much certainty. Luckily though, as we hit towards the middle of May, just because it's that time of year, frost will become even more difficult to occur, simply because the amount of nighttime reduces significantly as we head towards peak daylight hours in June, and of course those colder air masses are really dissipating over the Arctic. If we also do have a look at the temperature deviation, you can see generally we are in a lot of blues over the next couple of or next week or two. A lot of blues, especially starting by the end of this week. So it's looking pretty chilly indeed, with that colder plunge towards the start of next week. Not quite as severe as we were looking at a couple of days ago, but still cold enough to give severe overnight frosts and maybe wintry showers and a generally cold feel. If we do have a look at the GM run, see how that does compare. Again, northeasterly flow at the moment, with high pressure building over the top of the UK, meaning increased amounts of frosts. As we head towards the start of next week, we do see a northerly wind, but it's not quite as severe, with less application of the jet stream. So a chillier air mass does come in for a time, but it's not crazy cold at all. And generally this GM run has high pressure over the top of the UK before a westerly flow. So this wouldn't be too bad at all. It wouldn't be particularly warm, but it wouldn't be particularly cold either. So interesting from this GEM run. So you can see the overnight frost this week, and as we head towards next week, we do see a little bit of a northerly flow, but not that much colder actually comes out of the Arctic. Perhaps you're seeing a frost Monday night, but westerly flow for the end of the week, and it would turn things not too bad, with upper air temperatures pretty decent. So GM run really backtracking from anything majorly cold to start May. Very interesting. We're not seeing that on the ensembles, as we'll see in a minute, so it is a bit of an outlier, but it just shows you how quickly things could change. So you have a look at the ECMWF, see how that does compare. Now you can see northeasterly flow at the moment, and as that does move in, high pressure over the top of that chillier air, overnight frost this week, and as that retrogresses out towards Greenland, we do start to pull in a northerly wind. It is sort of in between the GFS and the GM run, with high pressure not amplifying the jet stream as much, so not quite as cold, but we still see colder air masses come in with generally higher pressure towards day 10, towards the middle of next week. It does mean we will be seeing cold conditions, frosts aplenty. So if we do have a look at the upper air temperatures, You can see chilly at the moment with that high pressure building in. That's where we can see those overnight frosts. And we see temporarily a little milder spell potentially towards the weekend, but nothing too crazy. And then we see those chillier air masses come in from the northeast -5 line, moves through eastern half of the country and the far southeast through sort of Wednesday and Thursday. And that will increase those overnight frosts under higher pressure. You see not too many isobars. It will be really quite cold indeed. Real chilly conditions, especially overnight. Look at those upper air temperature deviations. You can see real cold edges to our east. So if this does correct itself slightly further westwards, we would all be going into very cold conditions for this time of year at least. So yeah, ECMWF Run showing something similar to the GFS, which is not quite as direct northerly wind, so it wouldn't be quite as cold in the daytime, but overnight we could be seeing severe frosts, and of course severe frosts this time of year. Severe frosts and severe overnight temperatures in the winter would be sort of -15, -10 degrees, but being May, something severe would be more like -3 to -4 and widely around or below freezing, and that's what we could be seeing next week. No guarantees, but there is a decent chance it does come off now. So if we do have a look at the ensembles, you can see generally below average over the next couple of weeks. Chilly at the moment, and that's why we get overnight frosts the coming few days. Then milder conditions towards the weekend before it turns colder next week. Bit of uncertainty with that. You can see the operational run there with quite a few ensemble members that see a real dip, where we do see that colder plunge of air coming from the north. Others just say generally around or below average, but very few are above average. So yes, it might not be quite as cold as anticipated a few days ago, but it's still going to be around or below average in terms of daytime temperatures, and it's very likely we see overnight frosts. Beyond that, temperatures stay around or below average, some going much milder, some going much colder. So around the sort of the 5th of May, we get a lot of uncertainty. So day 10 time frame, which is expected for the models. If we do have a look at the ECMWF ensembles, you can see generally below average at the moment, pretty chilly. Then we see a little bit of a milder air back towards average for the weekend, and then it trends well below average for next week, and then very similar around the 4th, 5th of May. Big uncertainty comes in. The ECMWF Operational Run goes very cold, but other runs go very cold similarly as well. Others stay around average, or some go above average, but generally for the start of May it does look well below average, good maybe 5 degrees below average, and there will be overnight frosts coming over the next couple of days, and most likely next week. And next week it could be quite severe. Yes, there is uncertainty with it. If we do get that -5 line or -3, -4 line through, it could mean more widely around or below freezing, and that is something we do need to keep an eye on. Again, sea level pressure, if we do have a look at that, so you can see generally over the coming few days, higher pressure is in control, and that's why we can see those overnight frosts. Longer term, trending more lower pressure, but still on just on the higher pressure side, but uncertainty with that. If we do have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, they're not particularly useful in this scenario, as we're going to have a massive diurnal range, but they're all right for sort of daytime highs. The low temperatures they are not particularly good at, because of course there's so many little microclimate conditions with just small amount of cloud, or small cloud amounts can make drastic differences in overnight temperatures. But you can see generally highs over the next week or two are generally going to be around 13, 14 degrees. Some days chillier than that, you're down to sort of 10, 11, or maybe even only 9 or 10 degrees if we do see some thicker cloud and showers around. So yeah, temperatures in the day are going to struggle to get above average, if not stay below average for the foreseeable future, in around sort of that next 7 to 10 days. And those overnight temperatures, I said, you must ignore those. It's going to be chillier than that. Some days, yes, it may be 4 or 5 degrees with thicker cloud. Other days, it's going to get towards that freezing mark, especially in rural areas. So it's looking chilly over the coming days in terms of overnight frosts, but not only that, daytime temperatures will be around or below average. If you do see sunshine, it might not feel too bad, but any of those summery conditions or very warm conditions, high teens, low 20s that we've had recently, that is going to feel very far away over the coming days. Yes, we are heading into summer, so there shouldn't be too long left of this colder potential, but it is looking chilly over the next week or two, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't see any too severe frosts, and this is sort of the last hurrah of any colder weather until we get to autumn and winter next year. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Do stay safe up there and take the necessary precautions for the overnight frost and generally chilly conditions, and I'll see you again for another video soon.